Right guys, here we are back on Criclytics Man versus Machine. It's Super Sunday Part 2, and that is of course the Northern Derby, Punjab versus Delhi, and we'll break it down with you of course with Jarrod Kimber right here, right now. Don't go anywhere. Yes, we have Jarrod in the house, and we of course dissected Punjab Bangalore with him. Now it's of course Punjab's turn to play Delhi. Do you think anything will change, Jarrod, given the fact that Punjab pulled off the surprise, to say the least?
I mean, I wouldn't be putting my money on them again. When it comes down to it, I thought they did very well against RCB. Chances are they're not going to get Delhi or catch Delhi sleeping in the same exact way. So, no, it's a team than they did at the start of the tournament. But there's still obviously a long way to go before you back them over a team like Delhi.
Okay, of course you termed them as unbalanced before the RCB clash. Do you still think that they have chinks in their armour? Because Harpreet Brar made a huge difference for them. What do they really need to tinker going forward?
Yeah, I don't think they can tinker with the unbalanced thing. I think they're either going to have someone who can't bat at number 7 batting at number 7, or they're going to have a fifth bowler who's a little bit part-time, or fifth and sixth bowlers combining for that fifth bowler position. But we talked about after the last game, if they can keep pressure on in the middle with the two spinners, and I know one of them is quite new, but Bishnoi has been around for a little while now. If they can keep some pressure in the middle, and they do have batting at the top of the order, then there's absolutely no reason why they can't occasionally upset really good teams. And they might be able to beat the lower teams, because obviously, as far as the teams at the bottom of the table go, I would say that the Kings are a lot. They haven't just sacked their captain, have they? Put it that way. And their best bowler and their best all-rounder isn't back in England. So, and whatever's going on with Kolkata. So if you think about it from that point of view, they're not in the worst situation of the teams in the lower part of the table.
Okay, let's see how it works out for them. Let's shift our focus to Delhi, of course, and they've been doing great things in IPL 2021. 5 wins out of the 7 games so far. What do they really need to do? I mean, I know, of course, they lost to RCB by 1 run, and then they had that emphatic performance against KKR. Delhi Capitals, if they want to win this competition, we know that their fast bowling options are brilliant. We know their opening stand between Shaw and Dhawan is brilliant. What else could they make this team look so good on paper?
Yeah, I think their only flaw really is probably positions 4 through to 6 or so. Stoinis is a very good T20 player, but realistically, to get the most out of him, he needs to be up the order. We've already seen his usefulness with his bowling and his limitations with his bowling. They're still looking at that Steve Smith position. They're not quite sure what to do with Shimron Hetmeyer. Hetty's an incredible talent, and they don't. It seems at the moment they don't quite back him. So I think it's that middle group of sort of overseas players, if you will. They're not quite sure how to work them in that middle order. Now, that hasn't been a problem at all at the moment because their top order has been so incredible. But as you talked about in other episodes, that over-reliance, it only becomes a problem for 2 or 3 games if the top order doesn't make any runs. So I think if they have a weak spot, it's probably that sort of middle area. But they have a bowling attack that should win on any surface, realistically. They should be able to bring in the right bowlers at the right time at any time. And they have a staggeringly good top 3. So those two things are huge advantages in the T20 team.
Okay, fine. Those are pertinent points. Let's see how pertinent your points are in terms of your 1-minute verdict. And today the spotlight falls on Chris Gayle. Now, he of course had a little mini Gale storm against RCB. The question is here, Jarrod, whether PBKS should really open with Chris Gayle.
It's become this big question, hasn't it? Look, he is a opener who starts slow. If you have him and KL Rahul both opening and starting slow, I think that could cause problems. You could have a situation where they both go out for 15 and they're both taking between 25 and 30 balls to get there all together, and your team is in all sorts of problems from then on in. That's always my concern with someone like him. And so from that point of view, having them staggered slightly at first drop and opener, I think makes sense. My only thing is that I would have them the other direction. I think that it's KL Rahul who has the talent to be able to bat further down the order and understand that position better, whereas I think it's Chris Gayle who should be opening. So, but I don't want to say it's working for them because what are they, 3 and 4? But if they get a win here, they'll be 4 and 4, and they could say it's working. Realistically, though, I don't think it's the ideal situation for them. The other thing that they can possibly do, of course, is open with Gayle and KL Rahul and bat Milan at 3. Then you'll have 3 guys who are going to start very slow, but also because they all bat so deep, chances are one of them is going to come off as well, which would be a very interesting thing to do if they do drop Nicholas Puran.
Yeah, that's food for thought, really. Let's see if Kumble does bring in the changes at the top of the order. Speaking of the batsmen, let's of course get in your predictions for this one, because last time you went for Chris Gayle and you actually won that particular duel with the robot. This time around, Shikhar Dhawan has a higher average than anyone else when they play the Kings. Would you go for someone like him? Would you go for Prithvi Shaw? Who are you picking? And I'll tell you who Criclytics thinks as well.
Yeah, I think Shikhar Dhawan's had a couple of starts, hasn't he, of recent times. He hasn't quite gone on with it. So I think he's going to be my player. I'm big fan. I think he's been doing a lot of good things. And some of the other guys in this team have been making the runs. But there's no reason why he can't pop in with a good score here. So I'll go with him.
Okay. Criclytics has gone for his partner in crime in Prithvi Shaw. Let's see how that pans up. Bowlers next. And there's again a vast options to choose from. Who are you going for here?
Yeah, I think Avish Khan, I've gone with him before, hasn't he? He hasn't got it for me. No, I'm a big fan with him. I think I will go with him again. I just think he's a good quality bowler. But I think this happens quite a lot in leagues around the world, not just the IPL. You have a good local bowler come in and get a bit of a honeymoon period. People go out to them a lot, and after a while, they start to sort them out. I'm not saying that he will end up out of the league or anything, but he might not be as effective as he is right now. I think we're still a couple of games before people start to work him out. So I think Avish Khan is a very good option.
Yeah, Avish Khan is what Criclytics has gone to as well. All-rounders, and it's gone for Marcus Stoinis here, maybe drawing some inspiration from that super over that these two teams played the last year out. Would you go for someone like that? Would you go for the new kid in the block, Harpreet Brar, Akshar Patel, like quite a few names?
Yeah, I think I'll go with Akshar Patel because I still think they're going to rely on his batting a little bit. Stoinis' bowling is he does take wickets, so for a fantasy cricket he can be quite handy, but you're never even sure how much they're going to use him. So I think that in this particular case, I'm going to go Akshar Patel. I think he is, he's been back, had a couple of games now. He should be due a couple of wickets here. And also, if they do have any problems at the top order, he's going to have to bat a little bit. So if there is a collapse there. So I'm going to go with him, which a bit of a random one, but I just don't fully embrace the Marcus Stoinis train. Okay,
let's see how that works out for you. I wish you well in that, because I think I'll support your theory more than Criclytics. We of course have to shed light on the wicket-keepers before we get to the match result. Quickly, because we are 1 minute wrap is what my producer tells me. Wicket-keepers, KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant. You've hinted that KL Rahul is an IPL run bank. I'm guessing you're going for the Punjab King.
Yeah, there's not much between these two guys, is there? But I will go with KL Rahul in this particular situation, just because he bats one spot higher. Although, if they move him in the order, that will absolutely ruin my theory. But for now, KL Rahul.
Okay, would you be going for KL Rahul and company for the win in terms of your match result? Because Criclytics... No, wait for it. I'll tell you what Criclytics thinks, but I want your opinion first.
I'm assuming Criclytics is going to go for Delhi. I think this is the game that if I was working for Delhi, I'd be thinking to myself, if we win this, we pretty much guarantee a playoff spot here. We're going up against a weaker team. If we don't win this, they go to 4-4 and we're not that far in front of them, and suddenly there might be a bit of a scrap for a playoff spot. So this is almost like a 4-point game. So I'd be very surprised if Delhi aren't fired up for that. And with that, thinking, I think they should win the game.
Okay, great. I mean, you're shadowing Criclytics in the last call, and that's the most important call, but will the other factors be a differentiator? Only time will tell. But Jarrod, we appreciate your time, and of course, we encourage all you guys to stay safe back home in this pandemic and vaccinate yourselves whenever you guys can. Until then, we'll see you in the next one. And of course, subscribe to the cricket.com YouTube channel. If you haven't, I mean, you're missing out pretty much. See you.